Or if you have a big picture kind of child and say they've had a play date at a friend's house and you pick them up and you say, did you have fun? Yeah. What did you do? And they give you vague answers like played, had a snack, stuff. And you're like, wait, it was 3 hours. There's got to be more to it than this. And if you ask the right question, you can be very specific, and you happen to hit it just right, you'll get that information. But you don't always even know what question to ask to help them recall and pull out that information. So what I would do is something I call backward chaining. And you start with the most recent thing that they did, and you work your way backwards. So I pull into the driveway, and I get my child, and they're in the car, and I said, right before you came out the front door to come into the car, what were you doing? Oh, you were cleaning up the toys. Well, what were you doing before that? And if you work your way backwards, you get so much more information. But if you say, what did you do while you were there, you get those vague general answers. So you don't have to have the specific thing, but you're taking something recent that's fresh in their mind, and you're connecting it backwards, backwards, backwards. You can use this in your teaching if you have a child who's a big picture learner and they're struggling with math. Show them a completed math problem, and then go back and show them step by step, and as you go, point out skills they already have. So if you're working on long division and you get to the part where you're subtracting, you say, you already know how to subtract, and we're going to use that here. So they start making those connections, but they can see the whole picture before they see all the separate parts. And I would even do long division, each step in a different color. So as they go, now this process in this color, the next step in the next color, so they can see the breakdown of the big picture into the component parts. These are the kids who think, again, in possibilities and alternatives. So I had Josh tested 3 different times in his life, and after 7th grade he was tested, and they said, wow, Josh is either very high or very impaired, and there's not much in between. So his IQ comes out high average, but there's really not much average about him. And we also noticed that Josh is an out-of-the-box kind of thinker. Josh does not know there's a box. If you've seen my website or my catalog, you'll see our logo is a box. We used to have a box with a person standing on top of it, and I would think of myself as being in the box and Josh on top of it. I'd like to think it's a nice big box, but it's a box. Josh is an outside the box kind of thinker. He tried thinking inside the box once. It did not work well for him. What you see in this picture is the cardboard box that the 12-pack of Coke comes in. He has a hole here and a hole here, and he's in his thinking position. Now, what's interesting to me was I thought, he doesn't plan well. He skips that part because the eye holes seem to be way off here. But you know what? I was wrong again, because in Josh's mind, this is exactly what he planned. He only needs to see with one eye. He also needs to breathe. So he made one vision spot and one air spot. Exactly what he wanted. Very utilitarian, no extra holes, because one good eye is all he needed. Who would have thought? He also was on swim team, and he was always experimenting. So here he is with his goggles. I wonder if things look the same way if I flip my goggles inside out. And he has this big grin on his face because these kids love to experiment, love to explore possibilities. They do not like to be limited in their options. And the other major approach to learning is the detail learner. These kids are sometimes, easily sidetracked. I can't forget this one, because I also have an amusing picture for you to see in a minute. They have so many ideas that they can go off on rabbit trails, and if you are distractible, you might join them before you realize 40 minutes have gone by and you haven't started your lesson you were intending to yet. So we don't want to squelch that, but you do sometimes have to limit it some. So I would give Josh a pad of paper and a pencil and say, when you have an idea, jot it down. If we can get to it, we will. If not, you can tell me about break, or you can do this on your own time. because he was also forgetful. He was afraid his ideas would slip away. So sometimes you can go off on sidetracks. Sometimes it's okay to say, we're not talking about that right now. We can talk about it later. Right now, we need to focus on this. Being able to think in possibilities and alternatives is not at all a bad thing, and we don't want to convey that to our kids. But we also have to be responsible, and we did say that we would homeschool and cover certain subject areas, so we also have to find a balance there. Now, kids who are easily sidetracked, it's even more challenging if they leave the room, because you might not see them for a while. They might have left with the intent to do what you asked, but once they got there, another idea or something caught their eye, and they're off. Once I asked Josh to fill the ice cube tray for us, and he was gone for quite a while. And then he came back, and I didn't discover until hours later when I went to get an ice cube what he had been doing. I don't know why you're laughing, because this is not, but no. I pulled the ice cube tray out and almost dropped it. I thought we had bugs somehow in the freezer. These are Josh's Lego men and the little Star Wars chicken walker things in there. He froze them. And I want to point out that he left some of the cubes playing with water for me. So I would still have ice cubes, very limited amount. And then he did experiments. So he popped out a couple of them and left them on the front porch to see how long it would take them to melt. Then he had a couple on the kitchen counter. I persuaded him they would be much more comfortable in a bowl on the kitchen counter as they melted. And then the third set he took out to the front porch with a hairdryer, and he blew them dry until they melted from the heat, and he timed it all. And I was like, he's a little scientist, he's a little scientist. I kept saying that to myself. He's doing experiments. He's learning in something that he's interested in. But his own experiments were always more engaging to him than what my lessons were, no matter how hard I tried. So, if they're gone for too long, you might want to check, or you might discover later what your kids were really doing. Now, the other type of learner that our kids could be, the detail learner. These are sometimes referred to as the more left brain learners. These children do well when they know what the assignment is. They know what to expect. They become very strong independent learners as they get older. You know, my daughter, who was the left brain type, this detail learner, by the time she was in middle school, I could print out the lesson plans for the week and have the stack of materials and hand it to her, and she would work her way through it. Now, these are the kids who will maybe ask you every morning, what are your plans for today? My daughter's 21, she is still asking me that. And I figured out that if I left any time gap in there, she would fill it for me. So I would say, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And she'd say, I noticed we have 45 minutes between 2:30 and 3:15. Do you think you could run me to Target? Oh, so I had to learn to give myself some margins and include categories like miscellaneous activities, possible chores, maybe returning phone calls, or she would fill it up. And she would remember. Now, I could tell my other kids the same information. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And they'd be like, okay, whatever. And then later I'd say, okay, do you remember what we're going to do next? No. Is there more? Are we done yet? So, very, very different kinds of kids. So sometimes you have to learn to be a little bit vague and allow yourself time. These are also the kids, if you go on a car trip, they want to know how long it's going to take. So you say, it should take us 2 hours to get there. Their next question, what time was it? You are now being timed. You will not vary from the schedule, or they will point it out to you every few minutes, what time is it now? They're keeping you on track. You know, if you say, it'll be about 20 minutes to the next rest area, they do not feel obligated to last longer than 20 minutes. You know, you need to stop now, because you said that, and they're very aware of time. And they will keep you on track if you're not aware of time, or they'll come alongside you if you are. These are the kids who will look around and say, shouldn't we be getting ready to go? When they know you have something to be, and the other kids are like, go where? So, these may not be the learners who come up with the ideas, but they can tell you how to get there.